So my exact words to Phil were, I want a nice weekend out to give my winch and bumper a good testing. And his exact words were, we can do that. So we're at Drumclog. We're now going to rescue Phil, who you've just watched getting mega stuck. His truck is now dead in the water. So let's go around, let's see if we can get him out. Now, this Ford Ranger looked as if it was about to get in a very hairy position. When you drop down into this little section, it naturally wants to push you down to the right, which again is very muddy, very boggy, and it gets pretty deep pretty quickly. So we're going to turn around here, just position ourselves just in case we have to winch the Ranger out, while Phil and Martin assess their own Ranger and see if it's going to drive out or if we're going to have to winch it back the way. It does look as if Phil's Ranger is dead in the water, however, so I think we're going to have to pull it back the way. These Ford Rangers always surprise me when I'm off-roading with them. I would admittedly have one. I'd maybe do it a little bit different. This one was on 20-inch wheels or 22s with mud tyres. A lot of bolt on little bits, but he did actually not too bad throughout the entire day. We're going to reverse back though. We'll see if we're going to have to pull Phil back the way. I think we will though. It does look pretty dead. Martin can't get under the bonnet just yet because somebody parked it in a big massive puddle. So another big test for the custom built front bumper. Again, this bumper hasn't had a lot of research and development into it. It was literally drew it up in CAD, welded it all up, and now we're out testing it. So hopefully we can pull him back and get him up onto dry land and we'll see what's wrong. Hopefully it's nothing sinister. For those hawk-eyed viewers who probably spotted it, yes, those are in fact my welding gloves. Unfortunately, I left the gloves I usually take off-roading at the workshop, and for some strange reason my gloves that I use for just when I'm doing some light welding ended up in the truck. They do have holes, so if anybody wants to send me a nice pair of new gloves, I'm poor, please send. It's times like these I really want a winch with an air free spool. Just now you're having to reach in and enable or disable the free spool option on the Rockwood. Yes, I'm still using the cheap Rockwood winch. It's not gave up the ghost yet, and that's been what, a year and a half of torture and abuse, including the abuse it took with the Touareg. Now when I say Phil is very stuck, I mean he's very stuck. The back end has basically came down into the rut and bellied itself on the tow bar against all the mud and all the crap. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to put a soft shackle right onto the back tow bar. As much as we don't like doing it, we're going to try it from this angle. It might be the best option. We'll go around the tow bar, we'll pull back the way and we'll see if we can lift it up and over where it's bellied. But this is going to be a very good test for the truck, well, for the bumper and the winch. It wasn't until we were standing around talking that I realised who the guys on the bikes and the quads actually were. If you remember a couple videos ago, there was a stuck 4x4 in the mud bog, and we had to pull it out, and then we had to dead pull it all the way back to the campsite. It's actually these guys. Obviously the 4x4 is dead from the sounds of it, and they've now got themselves some quads. So it was great seeing you guys again. It was fun to have a joke and a laugh with yous. So we'll get this Ranger winched up and we'll see if we can get it out. So Drumclog is very slippy and very muddy. So I'm just going to reposition the truck slightly back a little bit, just to give it a bit more of a firmer footing, and we'll start winching and see if we can get this turd back up the hill. It doesn't look that bad from this angle, but trust me, it's in there. For those with keen eyes, you'll see the truck basically pulling forward. That was at the point the Ranger basically was coming back up a big ledge and it got stuck. So the truck was easier to pull down than what the Ranger was to pull back up. Again, we'll shunt it back out of the way, try and get on a bit more level ground and try again and winch it back up. Let's see how it goes. We have success. We got the Ranger back up onto firm ground. Now it's still on the hill, still very tight on this winch line. Phil is on the brakes as well, handbrakes on. Liam's out. Martin's gone into full dad mode now to try and see if we can get the truck basically started, running, driving. Has it took water on? Has it flooded? So we have it up the hill. It's not up to the top of the hill and it's not on flat ground yet, but it's still tight on the winch line. Phil is on the brakes and the handbrakes on. So Liam's going to get out, have a nosy and see if we can actually get it running, driving again, so that it can drive up the last little bit on its own power. Martin's gone into full dad mode, checking everything. It looks like it might just be a battery terminal that's potentially loose. So they've dropped that back into place, all the powers came back onto the truck. For those of you who don't know who this handsome devil is, this is Martin from DNA4x4. So if you need any truck parts, he's your man.
Bob! You're going to try and get out. Do you remember the other day me and you were having a chat?
Yeah.
And we were talking about how...
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm the same idiot in the same hole. I can't believe it started. Right, you want to left hand down. Hey? What is? Okay, Michael, get the back out. It's going forward in reverse. Is it? Video.
So the truck is running, it's going in and out of gear, no bother from what we can tell. So we're going to get out of their way. Oh, no, wait, nope. Yep. So, Phil's just informed us he has no power under load, so when he's accelerating it's very flat. The truck's wanting to stall and it's sounding like a bag of spanners. So we're going to shut it down, we'll put the winch back on and we'll pull him back up onto flat ground. I think it's going to be the best option.
Try and pull him over this way a bit. He was trying to do it.
With the truck being down on power and not being able to accelerate or slip the tyres, we're going to have to use sheer strength here to get this up and over the little bumps that's ahead. So if you look to the right hand side at the back bumper, you'd just see it's all grass and marsh. That's not perfectly flat and there's a boulder in there, so we're going to need to basically drag the Ranger up and over it all because we can't get it any other way out here tonight. So I think out of all the winch pulls I've done so far with this truck, I think that's been the hardest one. Obviously the Ranger was quite in the mud bog, it was down a big ledge, we had to winch it up and over the ledge with the back end, then the front end up over the ledge, then drag it completely dead in reverse back up a hill, no power, to then pull it up and over those ruts and boulder. So that was a good test for the bumper. There was no deflection, it didn't warp out or anything like that. Give it a quick once over. That was a very good winch pull. I think that's been one of my worst ones with this bumper. I'm quite happy with that. Now unfortunately the mic did not pick up the noises that were coming from the Ranger right there, but those were not happy noises. Basically noises from the engine under acceleration, sounded like a rattle, not chain, but something else. So we're going to pull it back just to get it a bit, basically get it out of that big muddy puddle that it's now stopped in. We'll pull it back out of the way and then we can get into the engine and we'll have a nosy and see what we can find. Hopefully nothing sinister. So we're just going to move the truck out of the way and let all the bikes and the quads rip past as usual. I'm going to park right here just in case somebody decides to try and go through this big muddy puddle and soak everybody. Oh no, that is not a happy air filter. So unfortunately it looks like Phil's took on a lot of muddy water. So now we're going to winch him back out the way, right out the way, and we'll try and dry it out. And we'll see if it's maybe just took on a little bit of water and it's not happy, but we'll get it out of the way first, we'll get it onto level ground and we'll see if it's drivable. Now for those wondering just how deep that mud bog was, if you look up the side of Phil's truck on the driver's side door, that is the line from the water below. I'm starting to think this video should be renamed to Torture Testing My Bumper and Winch. So the truck's dead, we've pulled it back out the way. Unfortunately, once again, it's in a big muddy puddle. Now, tried to see if there was a recovery point on the driver's side, there's not. So we're going to have to go on the passenger side and hope that we can just get it to come up onto the dry.
Liam's helping him turn the steering wheel, Kaz.
So unfortunately my battery ran flat at this point, but we've basically nursed the truck back to the campsite. Phil's going to strip it apart and we're going to see what we can see, but it looks like the issue is not only with the air filter.
What did I say about this, Michael?
Wouldn't happen with a Navara.
It's not very nice, is it, Phil?
That's a bit rude if you ask me. A gentleman would get his hands dirty and help.
I did,
I mean, you'd still be in a hole if it wasn't for him.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That ain't a happy intercooler. I think maybe we've got something in there.
So we've hosed out the intercooler, we're just trying to get a bit of heat in it to dry it out, and any other crap that's inside there dried out. But as always, thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch up with you guys later. Hopefully we'll have an update as to whether or not Phil's Ranger is alive.